It's good morning, Maxene London. Welcome to Yellow Shelf.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
My pleasure, Maxine. You're joining us from New Zealand this morning. Congratulations. Your podcast show, Want a Podcast, is out now. Tell us all about it.
Yeah, thank you. So, my heart has really been about helping equip podcasters with the tools and the knowledge that they need to know to start their own podcast and to grow it and to maintain it and make it sustainable and engaging and build community and all those things that good, successful podcasts do. And so, kind of alongside my business, Maxene London Creative, where I do a lot of this one-on-one work with clients. I wanted to have like an arm to to the business that was more accessible. And so that's kind of why I started the podcast. So I could give people some real actionable and easy ways that they can get started and actually implement these in their podcast. But it's not, they don't have to invest in like outsourcing or hiring me. So it's kind of like an accessible arm so that everyone can kind of have access to the information.
Yeah, and I know we were just sharing before we hit record. I was sharing about that idea of, when you're learning in this space and you have no idea, you can be bootstrapped and learn and, follow podcasts like yours and listen and get those conversations and tips and learn things you had no idea you didn't even know.
Yeah, and that's the thing I think with podcasts is Um, everyone has probably said or know someone who said, "Oh, we should start a podcast. Like, we
Yeah.
should totally do a podcast on that."
Yes.
And then when you actually get into it, it is actually a lot more work than maybe they would have initially thought. Like, there's a lot to it from the technical aspects to the content and then editing, distributing, marketing. It can be a bit overwhelming and it can be a lot and a big commitment, especially if you want to make it sustainable. And I guess the thing that I'm quite passionate about is podcasting is for everyone. Anyone can do it. You don't have to invest heaps of money into it. You can start it for free or cheap and build and grow and learn as you go. But the biggest roadblock, I guess, is actually starting
Yes.
and taking your idea and turning it into an actual
Yeah.
podcast that you publish. That's the biggest roadblock. And so if you can just start and not worry about it being absolutely perfect and grow and learn as
Yeah.
you go, that's a really helpful thing I think for people to do.
Yeah. And look, I know from a personal perspective, you kind of just have to do it and then get comfortable with it. So yeah, it's definitely a journey. Maxine, you have a fabulous guest. You mentioned the podcast yeah, started this year. So you've got guests and you've got topics and conversations. I'm curious about your guests. Are they in your network? How do you bring them to the program? And they obviously share ideas about their journey.
So yeah, the format of my podcast, I guess, is 1 week is an interview and 1 week is a solo episode where I dive deep into a topic, like you said.
Sure.
And so the guests that I've had on my podcast, I mean, I've been working in the media, radio, TV space in New Zealand for
A long
maybe
time.
10 years or something
Yeah.
now, so I do
Yeah.
have quite a lot of
Yes.
contacts that I've been able to reach out to and ask to come on and share their wisdom and share their experience with my listeners. But then also some of them I haven't met before. And so
Yeah.
I've just kind of reached out and like
Yeah.
kind of cold message, if you know
That's
what I mean.
great. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's good because I mean it's great to hear that because I do the same. Sometimes somebody's not in my network and I'll use a social media tool like LinkedIn or Instagram to reach out. Maxine, tell us a bit about you. I know you've kind of alluded you had a career in radio, you've had this extensive career in social media and marketing. Tell us a bit about you. What do we need to know?
Yeah, so I guess my degree was in radio. And so my career started in radio. I worked for a company in New Zealand called Rema Media, which has three radio stations and a TV channel. And so that's where my career kind of started. And then after I worked there for a few years, I started my own business. It was it was initially a copywriting business where I helped small business owners with their websites and emails and social media content. And then I saw a real gap. This was a few years ago now, so podcasting was still quite up and coming. Like not
Yeah.
everyone had a
Yeah.
podcast yet. And I kind of saw that a lot of people were trying to start their podcast, but
Yeah.
didn't really have the education around the
Mm.
technical aspects as well as like the content and the marketing and the distribution and all of that. Because as I said, there is a lot
Yeah.
to it. So I saw this gap in the market and I was like, I'm going to start offering podcast services as well. And so I started doing that. And then I had my first son in 2021. And so I put my business to the side. And then after maternity leave, I just decided to, go back into the workforce. I had a few more media jobs doing
Yeah.
marketing and editorial work
Yeah.
and, just, mainstream media
Sure.
office jobs.
Yeah.
And then when I got pregnant with my second son last year, I decided to step back into my business and
Yeah.
just see how it goes. But this time it's purely podcast production. So
Sure.
that's my main focus now.
Yeah, that's great. And look, like you said, I mean, people get into podcasting and you get into it and you go on this journey, and then sometimes the journey you kind of need to upskill yourself along the way. That's what I found. So, yeah.
Yeah.
So tell us, how do we connect with you? If we're curious about Maxine London Creative, if we're curious about your podcast, point us in the right direction of your socials.
Yeah, sure. So my podcast, Wanna Podcast, is just at Wanna Podcast on Instagram. And then Maxene London Creative is my business. Maxine's about Maxene. So you can follow me on Instagram, or if you want, you can connect with me on LinkedIn. My name is just Maxene London. That's just my name. And then my website is maxineLondonCreative.co.nz.
Awesome. Maxine, I'll put all those links in the show notes to make it easy for people to connect with you and take a listen. Thank you for joining us. I mean, I'm sure you're giving people this advice, but keep podcasting. It's such a great tool. And along the way, we all need help. So check out your podcast.
Thank you so much.
Cheers.